So let's really get to know your skin, your condition, and really how we want to go on to treat it. So in chapter 5, I taught you a little bit about how to really establish what your skin type is. Well, now I want to just take it that little step further, really understand it, and then know what to seek out, what ingredients to look for to help your skin. So knowing your skin type is a fascinating question. I've had many clients over the years not understand their skin type, and it's not until they've been in my hands and I've been able to tell them what their skin type is that they've gone away with that information and been able to transform their skin routine. So it's exactly what I want to share with you to make sure your routine is in place for your skin type. So this kind of knowledge could really transform your routine, and this is when you're going to see the results. So I'm going to teach you in the order of priority as I did before, because again it's so essential that you follow these guidelines to get the best out of your skin, and doing it at the right time will make all the difference. So let's start with sensitivity. You know, your skin here could be suffering in all sorts of different ways. Remember, I said it's quite a broad subject. You know, it could be that you have broken capillaries, perhaps you only have to touch the skin and it comes up a little bit inflamed. Perhaps your skin is very reactive to products on the skin, it's very fragile, but it could perhaps suffer with a condition such as eczema or psoriasis. So I'm not telling you to avoid all the exciting products that are all result driven. I'm just telling you to err a little bit of caution here. Just use things in lower doses, lower quantities, but also just maybe do a patch test, and that's just the safer way to sort of step forward. The best place to do a patch test is actually behind your ear or on the inside of your arm, and those will make sure that you actually get, you know, a safe product onto your skin without causing reaction. So here you need to seek out ingredients such as cucumber, really high concentration of water, really cooling and anti-inflammatory. You need to seek out things like chamomile, also anti-inflammatory. Perhaps licorice. Licorice is great for strengthening the skin, but it also decongests the capillaries so that you flush the blood supply. So certainly when it's very congested, such as in rosacea, that's really supportive. Also things like rose and evening primrose oil, borage, also camelina. You know, the last three are actually fantastic in the treatment of eczema because they take out that irritation within your skin. So is your skin dry? So therefore, is it perhaps flaking? Is it feeling or looking dull in appearance? Perhaps much more rough in texture? You know, then here we really need to concentrate on really smoothing the skin. We want to get it much softer again and much more receptive. So by smoothing and revitalizing the skin, you're actually going to increase its absorption tenfold. And when you get absorption, that's when you get results. So the kind of ingredients you need to look out for and seek out here are squalane. Squalane is one of my absolute favourite ingredients. It's actually sourced from green olives and is a beautiful texture on the skin. It's one of those oils that's not too rich. It's actually quite creamy when it goes on, but then when it settles, it's a very light oil, so very well accepted by the skin. You also need to look out for exfoliators here, but remember to seek out spherical beads. So highly recommend jojoba bead exfoliators. In Africa, they use an ingredient called shea butter, and shea is used to basically heal cracks in the skin. So you literally have to put it into a crack in the skin and it will knit it back together again and make it much more healed very quickly. So certainly in the cases of perhaps dry skin through eczema or psoriasis, shea butter is highly on the list. You also need to seek ingredients that are really rich in vitamin E. Now in here you need to turn to something like wheat germ, really rich in vitamin E, as is argan oil, and those types of ingredients will intensify the moisture within your skin and bring back so much comfort. When it comes to essential oils for the more drier skin type, then I would highly recommend seeking out something like jasmine, rose or sandalwood, because they have beautiful sort of softening and revitalizing benefits to the skin, so definitely seek out those in aromatherapy. So if you feel that your skin is much more dehydrated, so it's okay in texture, but actually feels very taut and very tight on the skin, and like I say, it's often linked in with oily skin types as well. And if it feels like this, it's not going to feel like it can breathe, it's not going to feel like it's as receptive and conditioned and comfortable. So really we want to focus on just getting that water content really back into the skin. So here we need to seek out ingredients. One of my top favourites is hyaluronic acid. A great ingredient, it's often referred to as the florist oasis, when water is attracted into the sponge and it just drinks it all up. Your skin, when hyaluronic acid is applied, your skin attracts moisture to it, and it's a great way to get that water content really back up. to speed again. Also, when your skin's dehydrated, you also need to think about masks that are non-setting. So you want them to be much more creamy. So just maybe add a little bit of water to the product, even a little bit of yogurt that just kind of softens up and loosens the product for you so that it doesn't set. Otherwise, it just takes the skin back to what it's already used to doing. We want to make it feel soft and comfortable again. So non-setting facial masks, highly recommended. The other thing that I would suggest as a priority on your list for dehydration is floral waters. These are a great alternative to a toner. So after you cleanse, either spritz or apply with a cotton pad over the skin a floral water. It takes away hard water residue, because you'll often find in hard water areas that most people will suffer with a very dehydrated skin just because of the lime scale and the rust content in your hard water. So if you feel that you've got more of an oilier skin type, then in the realms of aging, you're actually, got the best skin type, because it does soften the blow when it comes to lines and wrinkles. But for you, your skin is very overactive. It's really producing oil at a high rate. Your sebaceous glands are pumping away the oil to the skin, and for some, it's a very wet, constant oiliness that comes through the skin, no matter how many times you mattify it during the day. As I've mentioned before, just don't overwork the skin, don't overstrip it, don't keep taking away, because when you take away, the brain thinks I'm dry, I'm going to send more oil, and then you just end up with this constant oil production because your brain thinks it's dry, so it's going to send more and more oil. So it's kind of a self-fulfilled prophecy. So really important here that you do opt for a setting mask, because a setting mask is a great way to not overstrip the skin, but it will mop and kind of sponge and absorb the excess oil off your skin. Here, just like baby skin, you really need not to use anything that's too rich. Just use ingredients that, like jojoba, that mimic your natural skin sebum, so that you don't over oil the skin either. So keeping it at a good balance. Now there's lots of essential oils I would highly recommend for oily skin types to just revive the complexion, because again, with overproduction of oil, like dry skin, it can actually create a dulling on the skin. For some oily skin types, they will have a yellowy appearance. So really seek out things like Mei Chang, a great Chinese essential oil that smells like lemon sherbet, really revives and invigorates the complexion, as will lemon or grapefruit perhaps. So great things in aromatherapy for you to seek out for an oily skin. So once you've addressed your overriding skin type, this is when you can put a little bit more focus on the other little extras on your skin. So it might mean that you have a spot that comes up, and for some people it's often a spot on the end of their nose that just comes up every now and then. For others there can be more of them. But in the case of spots, I'd highly recommend using something like tea tree, just on a cotton bud, dabbing on those areas specifically. Or perhaps if they're very severe spots and really painful, then you need to use something like salicylic acid, and that actually helps to wind down that blemish so that it doesn't appear so above the skin and just exfoliates a little bit quicker. Again, I would seek out some professional support on where to source those types of products. If you suffer with pigmentation patches, then lemon is a great ingredient, actually straight from the fruit. Squeezing it onto the skin, it's a great way to just lighten the skin. The lemon essential oil that I use is fantastic, and I use it within a lemon kernel oil base, so it's kind of the best of both worlds, having the base and the essential oil in lemon and from lemon. I would also suggest a great ingredient from mushrooms called arbutin. Again, you'll find that in the realms of professional products that really help over time to really reduce the amount of pigmentation on your skin. Of course, staying out of the sun and using good sunscreen in those times while you're treating it is essential for pigmentation. If you have something like eczema, for example, then evening primrose and borage are great. They are renowned for treating the skin. I have a cousin who was top to toe in eczema, and his mum read an article on evening primrose oil, broke the capsules and put it onto his skin, and in months it was completely repaired, and he to this day still does not have eczema. So it will go with quite a history of successes. So if your skin suffers with perhaps the stress-related condition of psoriasis, then I would highly recommend juniper. Juniper is a great essential oil which actually helps to detoxify the system. So if it is stress related, it's a great way to kind of purify it out of the system. So great during a massage to enjoy juniper within the blend. If you have open pores, then really do seek out those setting clay masks, because they will help to refine and tighten the skin a little further. So definitely seek out a setting mask as opposed to a non-setting. Now, if you feel that your skin type is much more severe, perhaps you're suffering with rosacea, you're suffering with acne, or perhaps scarring, this is really where professionals can come in and help you and recommend, because it is a matter of having some regular facials alongside some great product usage at the same time, and working those two things simultaneously will expedite your results and get you seeing results much, much quicker. There is so much to share with you in the realms of skincare, and you may be sitting there with other things going on in your skin, and so perhaps for you it would be better to come and have a one-to-one Skype session with me so we can really sort of hand pick some ingredients that are going to suit you. We're going to be running a poll later after the launch of this course to see if there's some other areas of skincare that you'd really like me to delve into.